What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, finishing the morning up $755 in the first hour of trading. A nice day for sure. Small caps recently have been absolutely terrible. We have seen plenty of pops, but then it's like huge drops after any kind of pop. So it's like scalp kind of trading right now. So I don't know, but we'll get into the trades really quick so you can see how I did it. All right, so my first trade this morning was BOSC. This one was a news play. Uh, I don't typically like to do this. So, okay, first off, we have to paint the backdrop of what's been going on last Friday, Monday, and now today. So these low float plays that we're so accustomed to playing, they all trade similarly. So when they're ripping, they rip, and they all rip. They all just go sky high. When they suck, they all suck. And right now we are in like probably the worst I've seen all year. So what we've been seeing is it'll pop like they always been popping. We'll see a stock say it's this one that we're looking at. Go from $2 to 250. It'll get that pop, and then out of nowhere, the bid, the L2, will drop like way below where the move started from, if that makes any sense. And it just opens it up to these huge drops that are available for these stocks. And you can look at any stock this morning that kind of popped. We had these huge pops, and then it just gave it all back. VXRT, another one, popped up, giving it all back. And a lot of times it happened, like right here. This is a prime example. Going from 590s to 625, and then inside this candle, if you watched it live, it went 625, and then the bid dropped below 6. Like, you never see that. This just tells you it's a really bad time for these low floaters. So we haven't really seen any of these things run. So BOSC anyway. BOSC is that's the backdrop. So that's how I'm trading these recently. I'm not trying to get into them, jump in early. I tried not to anyway this morning. Not trying to jump into them early. I want to see if they can pop, pull back, and then maybe candle over candle to really get going. But this one was a news play. This one, it had some news out. It's one that I've traded before in the past. It's been a long time. You can kind of see on the daily chart, it does like the pop, and it can move. So I was thinking, okay, at this time, when I got over here, it hadn't moved that much. It might have been right. When did I buy this? 9:30. So shoot, way back here. We're looking at the wrong can. So way over here. This is when the news comes out. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I can get in. The worst case scenario is I go low a day and I get out for like $2.32. Right? I got in at 2.34 right here. I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I just sell low a day. Well, what happens is news comes out, it gets the pop. I'm trying to get in early, thinking that the other news cycles would push this thing up, people would play it, blah, blah, blah. There hadn't been anything going on at this time in the morning. And what do? Boom. They drop the bid to below where the move started. And I'm just like, huh. So at that point, I just have to slowly get out. I don't want to drop. I took 2,000 shares, right? If I were to hit a market order and sell 2,000 shares on a 3 million share float stock, they would have just filled and just dropped this thing. So a lot of times I'll kind of creep my way out. And a lot of times the market makers will keep the bid from getting whacked if you're just selling 500 shares at a time. So you'll see me, I sell 500 shares. The bid doesn't really drop too much. Drop 500 shares again. The market makers just says, oh, I'll take it. Another 500, another 500. So I creep my way out for a loss, but it could have been way worse. This thing, again, it got volume later on, and I do end up playing it. But look at this. It pops huge, and then boom, low a day. It makes no sense, and you'll see this play later on. I did play this, ended up losing more money on it. But again, it's just a really weak market for these low floaters. So here's this trade. BOSC has news. I'm going to go long at 234, $150,000 new order from India.
Supply chain division received 150,000 order from new customer in India. That's BOSC.
It's a super low float stock, so if this news gets it going, it really can't move.
I'm up over my goal already, so
A and Y starting to run. This is another. Looks like they're trying to push penny plays.
I have the last 1 minute candle on SNES, maybe a spot traders look at. I don't really want to buy into the 200 moving average though.
so SNES you shouldn't have.
All right, I'm all out. BOSC -7 on that one. So my next play this morning was BLNK. I forgot to mention that my first trade this morning was a news play on BLNK. You can kind of see down here. I got in at 7.44, sold at $8, 1,000 shares. So a nice win, this morning. I got in right here. News dropped about like how many, recharging stations, blah, blah, blah they had. I don't know. Just enough to pop the stock in. It's a stock that's been hot recently, so I knew that any kind of news would probably pop it up, and that's kind of what happened. Sold up here around $8 for a nice $500 cushion on the day. So my next trade here on BLNK, this one didn't work out as well, but I knew it was going to be more of a risky trade. So this is what kind of I saw here. You kind of see this downward trend right here, and you kind of see, up. This is a 1 minute descending triangle, and a lot of times the descending triangle, you have these lower highs being set in. So you got a high here, you got a high here, you got another high here. And I'm thinking that this level, if it can hold, we will get a break through the VWAP and get this move to go back up. And I saw what you'll see here when we're watching the L2. It didn't break this like support level here. And it's just a mini support level. I mean, there's nothing really significant here. It's just making I saw volume come in, so I thought we were going to break to the upside of this descending triangle. Now, descending triangles, again, usually break to the downside, and that's kind of what you see happen there. It did break to the downside. But a lot of times, if the descending triangle can break to the upside, it'll really get a lot of volume and push up, especially if it's, in a area where it's, that kind of move is justified. Being, a positive move like this around the VWAP would be justified. This is, we're barely below the VWAP. This is still an area where, long traders would be willing to take this trade. So I saw volume come in on the L2. I hit the buy button, and then it just stopped. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, if this level breaks here, this low of, you can see the low here, 768, 768, 768. If it looks like that low is going to break, I'm going to bail. And that's what happens. I get in the 740 candle right here, pops up, volume stops, starts to come back down, and I get out at 769 before this break happens, which dropped it to 753, which continued down to 740 before it moved back up here, and kind of hasn't done much since then. But I read it right. It was worth the risk in my book. There hadn't been anything going on at all this morning, so it was worth the risk. It just didn't pan out.
Yep, watching right now.
So CARV was the next play. This one had popped up nicely, and I was waiting for a pullback on this one, and I could hear multiple chat rooms watching this. I knew there hadn't been anything else moving this morning, so all eyes for all low flow traders were on CARV. So we're looking for this. Here was the pop. Here's the pullback. This isn't the prettiest pullback that I like to have, But nonetheless, it gave me something to play off of, which was this level right here. I got in early because I thought that people would start jumping the gun and trying to get in early, thinking that everybody else was going to get in for this break. It did work. Okay, this getting in early did work for this thing. But the pop happened. We went to 763, right? Like almost basically a 40-cent jump, and then the bid drops all the way down to 723, 720 area. And it was just like, how, like, there's just no sustain, right? There's just zero sustain. So when I see that, we break that whole, the $half level, we break that resistance level, but it comes right back down. What you'll see is we'll break that $half area again, and it comes right back down. And if a stock I'm trading and I'm in it can't hold the $half or a whole dollar move twice, that's my sign to get out. And you'll see it sells off. That was a bearish sign, right? And when I was up, you'll see my profit loss. It was like $700 on this move right here, and then it just drops all the way back down, and it's just like, how do I even trade that? So I took a small win on this one. I sold half at 735 and 731, inside this candle, and I got out even though I didn't want to, because the price action was telling me that the move is not going to be sustained. This is going to come back down, and you can see how it played out. I would have been a bag holder had I just decided to hold. And it just kind of goes to show you what kind of market we're in, right? Like CARV the other day went from freaking $4 to $12. We're not in that market right now. These low floats, they can't hold their moves. So I have to trade with that in mind. I'm not looking for this thing to get going. In the back of my mind, I'm hoping it does. But if it starts showing me any kind of sign that it ain't gonna work out, I gotta cut loose, take my profits, move on.
180, but remember, it's still right at that 200 moving average. 12 million.
So over 730
crowded.
on CARV.
CARV, the high of the last 1 minute candle is 29.
I'm on CARV at 723.
Long
Whoa, jeez, that's a spike.
Long for the break of high a day.
That's 185 high.
Again, though, that we just saw a huge spike on CARV, and then they dropped the bid below of where it was. So can't trust these stupid things.
Watch it over the $half, and then possible scalp through 775.
Out half 735. Out the rest 731.
37 average.
2 breaks at 750, and it didn't get any Momo over 750, so I have to get out. I'll wait for a candle over candle play for another entry, but I don't like how a stock can pop twice over pop twice over a resistance level, but drop right down below it. I don't really like that.
High was
I'll let it pull back and then give me another setup before I get back in. So let this candle close, and then over 750.
9:59 a.m. Eastern Time, the Richmond Manufacturing Index for May
I want to see a
9
bidder come in
is
though.
the consensus.
If it wants to give me 2 pullback candles, I'm okay with that too. There you go. That's the reason why I got out. I got freaking flush. So this next play was a news play. You'll hear Ben Zynga when I show you the live trade. They'll come in and say AHL reporting a $50 buyout price. So when I hear that, it makes it sound like that the company themselves is reporting that they have a buyout offer for $50 a share. So I'm very excited when I hear that. I jump in. I get in right around inside this candle at 43.72. Right here is where I get in. Pops up, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get like freaking $2, $3, $4 out of this trade. I'm gonna make a freaking boatload of money, right? And this is where it's key to always take the price action into play here when you're trading these news plays, because what ended up happening is it wasn't AHL reporting it. It was just, buyout rumor that happens every single day on all sorts of stocks. They just made it sound like it, maybe on accident, that AHL was reporting it themselves. Maybe the guy just said it, AHL, he just forgot to say buyout chatter, and he was, I don't know. He just reported it wrong, and it later turned out to be just from another news source I had, the Trade Exchange. They said it was just unconfirmed buyout rumor. So when I saw that this thing shoot up to 43 and just kind of hang there at 43, or I'm sorry, 44, that was my kind of signal that the market really doesn't believe this, and maybe it's just unconfirmed buyout chatter like we see every day on all sorts of stocks. So when I started to see that it's not going to blow past 44 and head to 45, 46, 47, somewhere up there, then I realized, okay, this thing's probably just buyout chatter. I need to start exiting. So I start exiting. I sell the 1,000 at 43.80 and at 44. And as you can see, the market didn't believe the chatter because, we're down below, closer to low a day. We did break low a day down here later on. So the market really doesn't believe it. So that's why when you hear these news plays, you got to take the price action into account, because a lot of times the news source, they'll say one thing and, they're right most of the time, but they're wrong sometimes too. They're just trying to give you breaking news as it happens, unfiltered. They're not sitting there disseminating, breaking it down, seeing if this buyout rumor is true or not. They're just reporting that there's a rumor. That's their job, to get it to you as fast as possible, and they did their job. And it's our job to filter it. So when I saw again, it was hanging up at 44. That was my sign to start getting out.
AHL, Alpha Hotel Lima, reinsurance, reporting $50 offer from the Hartford Group. That's Alpha
$50
Hotel.
offer on AHL. They're reporting a $50 offer.
Stony, that's great.
Shares of Aspen Insurance getting a pump here to 44.05.
All over the place.
Why it's not taking off?
Again,
That's
HIG Hartford said to be offering
no
$50
idea.
for
Oh, maybe it's
Aspen Insurance.
not. I'm still trying to hear this
Hotel
news.
CDTI, Charlie Delta Tango, India. I halted on a circuit breaker now. That's CDTI. Shares again up sharply. Said to be on that announcement from China on lowering the tariffs on auto part
I
imports
mentioned in the 70s, now one looks like it's halted.
to 6%.
It's crossed here, 120 by 118. Last trade was 112.
So this next trade was a news play as well. This one I took 1,000 shares on short. So you'll hear the news come out that the information, which I don't know what that is, but they're reporting that Oracle is losing big time subscribers to their cloud service, or big players, big companies in their cloud service. And I've never heard of the information. I don't know what the information is. It might be a really big website with tons of followers and they know what they're talking about, or it could be Joe Schmo in his basement writing about tech news. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it this moment. So I only took 1,000 shares because I didn't know who they were. And watch, they turn out to be like the creme de la creme as far as reporting this kind of stuff. And I just don't know. Noob I am, don't know who they are. Anyway, they come out, they say that they're losing big time guys in their cloud service. I go short. I see the volume coming in. And I just going for the scalp on this, just watching the L2, a lot of volume coming into the downside. I scalp it for basically $40. You know, not a big win at all, but again, it was only because I don't know who they were that was reporting this. It did pop back up, and eventually it did just kind of flush out, and it's going low a day now. So apparently the market believes it, but just a news play, nice win. You know, take it, move on.
20% drop.
ORCL, Oracle, report from the information says Oracle losing big cloud customers, Oscar Romeo Charlie Lima.
I don't know. So BOSC, oh goodness. I'm starting to hate this stock. It used to be a fun one to play back in the day, maybe a year ago. But anyway, BOSC, all of a sudden it just starts blowing up my low float scanner. I'm thinking, okay, people are going to play it now. I don't know why now, because the news is about an hour old at this point. But hey, I'll give it a shot. I get in at 243, you know, right inside this pop here. Actually, 245. Sorry, 245 is when I get in. I'm looking for that $half break. Good volume's coming in. I mean, geez, this most volume we've seen all day, right? And then all of a sudden, it starts coming back. It gets up to 253, kind of stalls out, and starts dropping. So I take 1,000 shares. I try to sell at around 250, and as soon as I hit the sell button, boom, they drop the bid to 10 cents, and I get filled down here at 242. Like, what the heck? So at that point, I'm just so done with it. I'm just trying to get out, maybe break even, maybe small loss on the rest. I ended up taking basically a $15 loss on the rest. As you know, the bid goes to 245. I mean, it just starts dropping quickly. And when I see that, there's just no more. There's no more strength in the move. I get out, and as you can see, look what it did next. It dropped down to 216. I mean, it was sitting here. You can see here on the 5-minute chart. It was sitting at 236 for 30 minutes, right? Gets this pop up with the volume to 253. Then what does it do? Out of nowhere, 216. It's just ridiculous. And right now it's sitting at 218, 220. So it's just like, what the heck? It's just been frustrating. Again, these low floats have not held up. The best play is to short them if you can, really, until you can't. So that's what happened. Glad I got out for a small loss, but you know, again, another low float not working.
Mentioned this one earlier with some news on it.
Jumping in, finally going. 246.
All of a sudden, volume kind of coming in. Only 113,000 shares.
Oh my gosh. Out half for -3. Out the rest -2. They dropped the bid on me again. Just decided to drop it 10 cents. So nice of them. So that's how I ended the morning. I made one more trade on VXRT, and it was just a 5-minute candle under candle play that just, it worked, but it didn't. It did what I thought it was going to do. It flushed out, but there was just hardly any volume on it, and it was already down so much. I shouldn't have taken it. I don't even want to go over it. So anyway, finished the morning up $755. If you're interested in my trading style and you have questions on it, please come into the free Discord chat room that I run. Link for that is in the description of this YouTube video. Click on that link, it'll take you there, and come on in. It's completely free. We started this one. We got a lot of good traders in here. We started it to help new traders because there's a ton of questions I'm sure you have. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So come on in, ask your questions. You can, direct message me if you feel like, asking it that way. I'm more than happy to help. I've done plenty of one-on-one sessions with people. It's something I enjoy doing. That's why I do it. So again, come on in. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.